Hi, thanks for tuning into my official YouTube channel. I'm Reverend MeeLing, also known as Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, a whole bunch of other names. I'm in the process of getting ready to drop off my second biggest piece of my Medal of Honor art project, driving on I-35. So I just finished a video that I'll have to upload it when I'm done because I can't do it now, mainly because I don't want to forget where I was at in reference to what I want to discuss. So my ex-sister-in-law, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, tried to claim these aspects where she was, okay, first off, she was born and raised in Fort Polk area of Louisiana, okay? When she was in high school, or just before she was getting into high school, is when her parents moved her older brother Tony, her little sister Susie Marie Nichols Lopez, and then their youngest brother, my dead ex-husband, to the Fort Worth area in Texas. Well, after Mary had gotten knocked up with Sandra Marie Osteen, and then wound up doing a bunch of stuff, essentially hiding that from Sandra's biological father and his family, her and David had moved to Georgia. And so I got to meet Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen in 2001 when David was going through Texas before getting to Lackland Air Force Base to go through Air Force basic training. So I want to do a whole bunch of Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen impressions, because those who have known her probably could verify how much it sounds like her in certain regards. So there was this point where I had warned Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen about her mom's dogs, specifically Julio. And so when I had told her Julio is the way he is, he was a Chihuahua that looked like he swallowed a football and had little toothpick legs. Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, oh, you don't need to tell me that. All dogs love me. And then that dog bit her in the face, made her bleed so much. She just had blood pouring all over her face. Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen was, oh my goodness, I can't believe that Julio just bit me. And she was just blood pouring all over her face. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that dog just bit me in the face. All dogs love me. Why? Oh, why did Julio bite? I warned you. Her two daughters, Sandra Marie and Ariel Marie Osteen, started running scared because Julio, the little dog that looked like he swallowed a toothpick, or swallowed a football with little toothpick legs, running around. Yip, 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 yip. And then they locked themselves in the bathroom. Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, oh my goodness, I'm bleeding. Oh, I'm bleeding. I can't believe Julio just bit me. I was laughing so much at that time, because it's still funny even now. Because Mary's face was just covered in blood. It was. I wanted to give Julio a high five for that. That was just awesome. But nonetheless, so then later, she took her and her two daughters to the apartment in San Antonio, Texas, and Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen said, I need my sweet tea. You need to make me some sweet tea, because I just do not drink anything but sweet tea. That's what us Georgians drink. We only drink sweet tea. Do you know what it's like to live in Georgia? No, I grew up in New Jersey. I don't know what it's like to live in Georgia. I'm sure it's a very lovely state. However, I grew up in New Jersey. New Jersey is a little bit above on the map than Georgia. Like, there's a few states in between Georgia and the state of New Jersey. There's a little bit of a difference, a couple of miles. So no, I don't know what it's like to be in Georgia. Well, in Georgia, we only drink sweet tea. You don't drink anything other than sweet tea in Georgia? No, not at all. We only drink sweet tea. Only sweet tea. Where is your sweet tea? I can make some sweet tea. That's fine. And then I made sweet tea, and then she complained because it was too strong. I was like, okay, well, that's not my fault. I mean, I made a pitcher, and then I got a bunch of Lipton tea bags and stuff like that, and I made sweet tea. And she's, oh, it's just such a strong sweet tea. Okay, well, I don't make anything weak. So, if you want sweet tea the way you're accustomed to it, then there's the tea bags. Go and make them yourself. And, what type of hospitality would I have to make my own sweet tea? Then don't complain about the sweet tea I made. I never even drank sweet tea. I'm just guesstimating how it's done. All right? Well, you obviously have never been to the state of Georgia, because in Georgia we are just so about our sweet tea. You just don't know. Our sweet tea is the best sweet tea anywhere. I just do not know. I just do not know. And I just try to keep a straight face while she's just going on about her sweet tea. And I'm just like, yeah. Again, if you want sweet tea, I made some. Yes, but your tea is just so strong. I mean, your tea, your sweet tea, it looks like the same color of coffee. How are you going to make sweet tea and have it as the same color of coffee when it's supposed to be tea? I've never made sweet tea before. I kind of figured that it should be strong. Well, I do declare, you just know nothing about Georgia's type of sweet tea. You're right, because I've never been to Georgia at that point in time. You put so much sugar in this sweet tea. Is it sweet tea supposed to be sweet? Yes. It is supposed to be sweet. That's why it is called sweet tea. But did you really have to use so much sugar when you were making some sweet tea? Maybe there's a Georgian out there, I don't know, who could possibly say that the sweeter the sweet tea is, the better. I don't know, because like, I already am passing Georgetown right now. It's not Georgia, it's Georgetown. But still, I'm just weird. I find it funny. So, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen continued on and, oh, well, if you just are not going to remake this sweet tea just to the way I like it, I do declare, how do you think that you are being hospitable to me after we came all the way from the state of Georgia? You took a plane and drive. And even still, I am being hospitable, because I could have told you to buy your own damn tea and make your own damn sweet tea. Instead, I was nice. I went out, and I don't mean my biological mother Anna's version of nice. I was genuinely nice. I went, I bought the stuff to make the sweet tea. And I didn't have to. If you wanted your sweet tea, sweet tea is not supposed to be so sweet that you can taste the sugar. I am confused. If it's supposed to be sweet tea, aren't you supposed to taste sweetness? And sweetness comes from sugar, correct? Well, yes. But did you have to make that sweet tea so sweet that I could taste the sugar? How else am I supposed to make sweet tea? Sweet. Do you not use sugar when you make your sweet tea or get it in no, in Georgia, we have our way of making sweet tea. You just don't know how to make sweet tea the way us Georgians. You're not from Georgia. I am from Georgia. I live in Georgia. I'm from Georgia. No, you were born in Louisiana. Louisiana is not Georgia. Oh, Susan, you have no manners. You have absolutely no manners. How dare you go and say that I am not a Georgian? I am a Georgian. My daughter was born in Georgia. Yeah, your second daughter, not your first daughter. Oh, Susan, why do you have to point out such inconsequential aspects? I mean, Susan, I am from Georgia. I have a Georgia driver's license. That is what makes me a Georgian. No, somebody being born and raised in Georgia makes them a Georgian. So your daughter Ariel Marie Osteen, by technicalities, is a Georgian. Your daughter Sandra Marie Osteen is technically-ish a Texan. So she's like a Texas Georgian-ish because she was born in Texas, but she was, after a certain point, raised in Georgia. Oh, I do declare, Susan, why must you pay attention to such small little details? I mean, seriously, I am a Georgian. I am a Georgia Belle. No, you are not. You are not a Georgia Belle. I would guesstimate there are plenty of Georgians who would be extremely insulted. Oh, Susan, do not talk about Georgians like you know any Georgians. I am a Georgian through and through. No, Mary Evongelina, you are not a Georgian through and through. You were born in Louisiana. That is just semantics that you are paying attention to. It is just semantics that you just have to pay attention to the fact that I was born in Louisiana. I mean, realistically, I have spent so much time in Georgia that makes me a Georgian. No, Mary. That means you spent a bunch of time in Georgia and you live in Georgia. That doesn't make you a Georgian. No, it does. I do declare, Susan, I do declare. Why must you pay attention to the semantics about me being born in Louisiana? I mean, I really just do not like how you want to go and pay attention to the fact that I was born in Louisiana. I live in Georgia. I am a Georgian. No, you are not. You do live in Georgia, but I would guesstimate that people who have lived in Georgia a lot longer than you would probably not consider you a Georgian. I do declare, Susan, you really truthfully are so rude. That is why you just do not understand that I am a Georgian. No, I'm telling you, I would guesstimate there are plenty of people who are actual Georgians who would be extremely insulted by you claiming to be a Georgian. No, Susan, that all Georgians love me because they know that I'm a Georgian. You mean the way that all dogs love you and then you got bit in the face by Julio? Susan, I do declare, you are just so rude to point out that inconsequential semantics. All dogs do love me. That Julio, he was just an eyeball, that's all. He truly does care about me. All dogs love me. Just like all Georgians know that I am a Georgian. I don't know about that. Julio wasn't the only dog that didn't like you at your mom's house. Susan, just because some of the other dogs went and pissed in my shoes and shit in my shoes does not mean that they don't like me. No, I think that pretty much shows you exactly what those dogs think of you. I don't know why you would think anything other than that in that regard. Realistically, I mean, unless you want to look at it as they were pissing and shitting on your stuff to say that they owned you. I mean, otherwise, I don't think so. And that, if you're going to go off of the fact that, then I really don't think that all Georgians like you. I would guesstimate there's a whole bunch of Georgians that are really upset that you call yourself a Georgian. And they do the Southern nice thing where they, oh no, Susan, all sorts of Georgians have told me that they knew that I was a Georgian. Oh, how they tell you that they knew you were a Georgian? Well, they told me that when we talked, and we talked about this, and we talked about that, and, you know, we would sip our sweet tea together, and this, that, the other. At some point in time, they told me, well, bless your heart. And I looked at her, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, maybe they were giving you blessings. Now, when I say brightest of blessings, I actually mean that. Years later, I learned that when somebody in the South says, bless your heart, that doesn't necessarily mean the way I mean, you know, brightest of blessings, which I actually mean, you know, blessings when I say that. I learned years later that some people, when they say bless your heart, that is the Southern way of the New Jersey go fuck yourself. That's what I learned. I wish I had remembered that the next time I saw Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, because I would have been like, so I learned that bless your heart means go fuck yourself. And I think that any actual Georgian that told you, after you said that you were a Georgian through and through, that told you bless your heart, was probably telling you to go fuck yourself. I don't think you understood that nuance. I think that Georgians might, if that's the same sort of thing in regards to, you know, in the state of Texas, but I didn't get that information until much later, and by the time I did learn that and then saw my now ex-sister-in-law Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, I didn't remember that I was told that bless your heart is that equivalent. And I didn't remember that other stuff. But yeah, so in regards to the rest of that aspect with Mary and her, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, and her issues with me making sweet tea, you know, oh, Susan, I mean, you should just pour all of this sweet tea down the drain because it is just a waste. I mean, it is the most concentrated version of sweet tea that I have ever had. Well, why don't you just take some of the sweet tea and then add water to it? And then it'll be watered down enough for you instead of wasting it. Oh, well, I do declare you just have absolutely no hospitable manners. I do declare. Susan, what type of person would make someone do that? What type of person would come into my place after I go and make sweet tea for you, and then you want to claim that it is too strong and you are just too lazy to just add some water to it to dilute it to your taste instead? To go and waste the sweet tea that I made just so that way you can have a weaker version. Why don't you just add water to it? And then you'll have the sweet tea to your taste. Well, if you would just remake this sweet tea, I wouldn't have to stand here and explain to you how you just are absolutely so rude to tell me that I came to San Antonio so that way I could see my husband graduate from his basic training for the Air Force. You wouldn't know what graduation for basic training is like because you had your head injury in your basic training. So why don't you go and make me some more sweet tea the way I like it? I looked at my skin. I looked at my now ex-sister-in-law, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen. Looked at my skin again and asked her where she thought she was from. And who she thought she was speaking to. Then she continued to complain. I went and poured some of the sweet tea that was in her glass into 3 other glasses, added water to it and some ice, and then handed it to her. And she was, oh, well, see, you could have just done that from the get-go, and then I would have been perfectly fine. You mean I didn't have to pour the sweet tea down the drain like I didn't? And I just, did what I told you could have done, but you were too lazy to do. Oh, Susan, why do you have to go and point out such small semantics? I mean, seriously. I don't know, maybe if I make sweet tea for a Georgian, like an actual Georgian, they won't complain about how strong I make the sweet tea. I don't know. Or they'll say the exact same thing that Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen had said, and I could just water it down so that way it's not as strong. But nonetheless, yeah, just I'm just saying, she threw such a fit about that. She didn't even drop it when it came to years later. So at my now dead ex-husband's funeral, she had brought up the sweet tea. She just makes sweet tea so sweet, and she thought it's just too sweet. I think I'm gonna get a cavity just from that one glass that I had a sip from before she made me some more. So, yeah. Yep. I would guesstimate there is not a single person that is jealous or envious of that encounter with my ex-sister-in-law, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen. However, her 2 daughters watched as she had thrown her little temper tantrum, and then her 2 daughters picked up on it. Oh, yes, Mama. You all right. This sweet tea is just too sweet. I mean, seriously, Susan, it is like you have never been to Georgia, because I had not been to Georgia. It wasn't until, I think it was 2004, that I had gone to Alabama once. Just saying. And then I went to Georgia in 2009, and I didn't get any sweet tea when I was there. For somebody who's into sweet tea so much, she didn't have any in her house. Just gonna throw that out there. As much of a fit that she threw about her sweet tea. So yeah, just figured I'd do a quick little official YouTube video on that. I would guesstimate that maybe there's somebody that has spoken to my ex-sister-in-law, Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen, that could say that maybe hypothetically I got that Georgia accent, that Mary Evongelina Nichols Osteen would just profess so much about how much of a Georgian she is. That's called an impersonation, right? That's what that's called. Did I get it right? Maybe even got her snootiness down to a T. So that being said, you guys have a good one. I'm gonna keep going on to go drop off that particular Medal of Honor art project piece. I guess I'm gonna continue that tomorrow because I'm getting closer to my apartment, and so I've got some other stuff that I've got to go do, and I guess I'll just take care of it. That's just Anyway, you guys have a good one. Comment, like, share, and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. I'm Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle. I've been known by a few names. Have a good one.